Hey, well, good afternoon, everybody. It's Dave coming to you from the paddock here in Southern Maryland. It is Friday afternoon, and it is time for a Red Freedom Friday. Hey, I saw these shirts, and I thought they were pretty cool. So rather than just going with the red shirt, I went with the red shirt. Remember, everyone deployed. I love it. We start that way every Friday, so let's just take a minute and do it again. Um, we got probably several 100,000 people deployed out into operational positions in our military, and that is why their choice to live their life the way they do allows us to make the choices to live the lives we do. So if you're a couch potato and you do nothing, it's because of the deployed military people. If you own your own business and you're killing it 18 hours a day, it's because they're deployed out there and keep the riffraff away from you. If you're retired and collect cars and tobacco and make stupid videos, it's because those people out there are allowing me to do so. So just remember them. Without them, your life would be very, very different. I think sometimes we forget that here in the U.S., we don't have to worry about our water. We don't have to worry about our food. We don't have to worry about the roof over our head. We don't have to worry about our kid getting shot at school most of the time. We don't have to worry about going to the grocery store. We don't have to worry about going out for dinner. We don't have to worry about driving down the road to go to work. And there are a lot of countries where not one of those statements is true. And a big part of the reason that's true is because of those who are out there on the other side of the ponds, keeping the fights and the bad people away from us. I know there's a lot of contradictory statements. I understand the southern border is not well managed. I understand we have concerns about the quality of our food supply and what the government does with our water at times. But that is a far different level of concern than wondering if you're going to have water or have food or have a roof over your head. We do not have those problems here. So anyway, let's just remember the people who make that statement possible, please. Thanks a lot. All right, today's Freedom Friday is another episode of Beyond the Weapons. So today is going to be Comm Freedom Friday or Communication Freedom Friday. There are several levels of communication. Should our grid get in trouble? Should our cell network go down? Should those cell towers stop working? There are some options. None of them are great. All of them have problems. I'm taking advantage of, 4 of the 5 options I have here that I'm going to show you in a minute. This is not meant to be a tutorial on technical communication. You're not going to get that here. If you think I'm going to teach you how to be a ham radio operator, you're out of your mind. I'm just going to show you the 5 options that I see and kind of what I've done with each, and just help you understand, should you want to get ready in case that cell phone quits working, how are you going to talk to those around you. All right, so I'm going to turn the camera on, I'm going to show you the table, and then we'll talk about each level individually. Okay, these are the 4 levels, so we'll talk Walkie Talkie, talk ham radio, talk CB radio, talk satellite phones. Those are the 4 levels, and then we'll talk about how to power them up if you're having power problems. So we'll go through each level now. All right, I'm going to take each item separately, and I've got a little cheat sheet grid here. And this brain ain't going to remember all this. All right, the first level, in my opinion, well, it's always listed as lowest level, so I guess we'll just do it first, is CB, Citizens Band Radio. I bought handheld CBs. I don't need them mounted in my vehicles. One, I don't know which vehicle I'll be in, and I don't need them. I try not to do anything permanent in my life. Like, why mount a bunch of CB radio shit in my cars if I'm never going to need it? So I use handheld. I buy Midland. It's just a recognized name. I'm not telling you it's the best. I'm just telling you it's a name that's well recognized out there. Midland radios, Midland CBs. They're rated fairly well. So that's what I did for the CB radios. You can get, I did do this, I get CB extension kits. It's that heavy duty magnet, and it puts the antenna up on your car. CB radios are as all radios are, severely dependent on the antenna you have it connected to. So to be ready at the lowest level, CB radio handheld with the automobile antenna kit, I feel is good enough for me. I can hear a lot of you saying, well, CBs, that's like 1970 technology, but there's millions of them out there. And, should it become necessary for us to be able to communicate without a cell network, I believe CBs will offer some capability. Like I said, nothing works. Nothing's the ultimate. Nothing has, every single solution I have here has a problem with it. So that's first level and what I did. CB radio, it's a max transmission wattage of 4 watts, and it pretty much got a maximum range of about 4 miles. And that has a lot to do with the antenna and the train you're in and all that. But 4 watts, 4 miles, CB radios, buy the Midland, buy the extension, the automobile antenna extension kit, and you have the lowest level of comm sitting on a shelf. So, because I have 4 of my family, I have 4 kits just like this, and that's true of most of my comm prep. I'm assuming, I make the assumption I could have 4 people trying to do this, so I bought 4 sets of all of this stuff. That's it. Level 1 is done. CB radios. All right. Next level is Family Radio Service, FRS. And in my opinion, that's what walkie-talkies are. We like inventing new terms and all that. We like being all lingo-y. We like talking cool, talking walkie-talkies. The next level up is walkie-talkies. I buy the DeWalt. I bought the 6-pack. Comes with the charger. I've got a couple other 2-packs in the back. I bought the DeWalt IP67. It's considered a heavy-duty walkie-talkie. I consider it pretty strong and robust. I think I can beat the hell out of them. They keep working. So if you hear about FRS or Family Radio Service, essentially I translate that to walkie-talkies. So what are the range on these things? I don't really care what your brochure says. The brochure on this stupid thing says it can get up to like 12 to 15 miles. Not a chance. So I kind of looked it up. They rate these things in 3 areas. 1, open terrain, nothing, no obstructions. They say between a half mile and 2 miles. I don't trust the 2 miles. Then in the suburban environment, we have some buildings around, houses around, 1/2 to 1 mile. And I experienced that. I can get a mile to a mile and a half on these. And then in deep woods, 1/4 mile to a half mile, and I agree with that. So I've used these things regularly from 100 feet to about a mile, mile and a half out. That's it. Don't believe anything beyond that. So that's the second level. So the DeWalt IP67 walkie-talkie, the FRS, that's level 2. Neither the ham radio nor the FRS or walkie-talkies require any sort of license. You can buy these products, bring them in, set them up, charge them, and begin using them. All right, the third level is what's called GMRS, General Mobile Radio Service, GMRS. I don't have a GMRS product. I skipped this wrong. I didn't see any value in adding this third level. I skipped right to the next. But GMRS is rated, you can transmit it up to 50 watts of power. There's lots of levels inside of GMRS. The most powerful one is 50 watts, and that lets you transmit 30 miles. I have no idea if that's true. I've never done it, but there it is. Just so you know, third level GMRS, 50 watts, 30 miles. You do need a license to use this product. I haven't done it. They say it's website based. You go on, submit your application on the website, and the government basically lets you download a license. So I assume it's really pretty easy to get. I just have never done it, so I can't advise you. All right, level 4 is ham radio. This is the amateur radio bands. This is for me the most technically difficult to get my head around, but it is pretty much level 4, and I did buy radios. So I bought the Baofeng. You can see down here, it's the Baofeng F8HP, and that means It's an 8-watt high power unit. Most of these handheld units are 4 watts. If you buy the high power, it's 8 watts. I would advise you to buy the high power 8-watt unit. The other thing I did is I immediately took the stub antenna off, threw it away, and I keep this antenna on it. But I also have what they call the whip antenna. And these things extend the range extensively. Like, I'm not going to try to quantify that statement for you, but I know the stubbies are horrible and really meant for people who are at work and don't need to transmit a long ways. These small whips are actually pretty good, but then you have these whips. So if I was actually needing to use it, I probably would take this off and put this on. Okay? You do need a license to run ham radio. And it doesn't require that you take an exam from an official, government-approved, government-recognized exam giver. And once you pass it, you need what's called a technician class license. There are 3 classes of ham radio licenses, and you need the lowest one, technician class license. It's not hard. I found it to be a memorization game more than anything. I don't have a big base unit. I don't have a big whip antenna, 200-foot antenna up on my house or up in a tree. I don't have any of that. So, I'm pretty hamstrung. See, making radio jokes already. I'm probably gonna be pretty hamstrung if we do have to go to ham radio, because I'll be really restricted to handheld units with this whip antenna. Right now I don't have the interest to buy a base unit and do antenna upgrades and put an antenna structure on or near my house. I'm just not that into it. So maybe that means I'm not that serious about comm after if shit hits fan. I don't really know. But I've taken advantage of it. I have several of these. I probably have 8 or 10 of these radios. A lot of this is replicated in my Wyoming house as well. So anyway, Baofeng, we start talking about specific radios, you get into a religious debate. It's like Carter Hall versus Prince Albert. Baofeng is one of the most recognized names in the industry. It has one of the better performance records in the industry. I have had no issues with these radios. But someone's going to come in and say I'm an idiot. Baofeng's the worst piece of shit on the planet. So just be aware of that. You probably can't go too wrong if you pick one of the top 4 names. All right, that's it. We'll move on to the last piece here. All right, for me, the last piece, level 5, are satellite phones or sat phones. They come in these Pelican containers. You can see mine are all externally labeled. I have 4 of them, 1 for each of my family. So I am phone 1. No shit. Let's see. When you open up the case, this is what it looks like. Basically, you just have charging cables for your car, for the wall, and then you have the actual phone unit. I put this, give you a satellite phone store. Atlantic Radio is the name, and then the service comes from Iridium. I just have this red rubber protector on it. We just keep it charged. It's got the satellite antenna on it. You can see this is an Iridium phone. These phones will remind you of 1995 cell phones, because that's basically what they are. This is basically a 20 or 30-year-old cell phone with a satellite transceiver on it. So it feels really cheap. I do not like, for the money you pay for the service and all that, it just doesn't feel very good. And it really feels like when you turn it on and start using it, that you are back in the earlier mid-90s. But it works. It works really well. So as long as you get clear view of the sky, you can't be in any building, you can't be under a porch, you can't be in a shed or a barn, you shouldn't be in your car, you can't be under trees. You have to have clear line of sight to the satellites. So blue sky or stars. and so does the person you're calling. So my service is set up mainly to be sat phone to sat phone. I can use sat phone to landline or sat phone to cell phone if I choose to, but it's more expensive. I just have it. I figure if I'm using this, it's because, shit has hit the fan. I want to talk to my kids. And if I can, we have procedures for if something were to go wrong, because you have to step out at the same time, right? So you have to step out of, ours is noon. If something goes wrong, step out at noon East Coast time, turn your phone on and get out under the stars, and let's talk noon or 12 or 6. So we get 4 times a day where we can step out and make something work. It works very well. It's relatively easy. I type up the instructions for my kids. So every one of my sat phones, I'm dropping all this shit. So I've got instructions on how to call out, all the phone numbers, everything. So my family knows how to dial it, do it. So that's really it. Those are the 5 levels. Those are the 4 I have. You've seen the equipment. We've talked about the service. I'm not sure what other questions I would be able to answer for you. I am not a tech expert. I'm not a comm expert. I just have given myself and my family 4 options to be able to talk to each other if something were to go wrong. So the last piece, I got one more piece, and that's radios and batteries. All right. Next thing is emergency radios. I have 2 to show you. They're little. They're small. I mean, they're pretty nondescript. This is phosphor. I don't even know how to say it. I don't even care. But it's just a basic little thing. You can put a radio. You can put regular batteries in it. It's got a little solar charger on top. It's got a hand crank. That's really what you want to look for. For me, I wanted a hand crank, because that's how you recharge this battery. So you can either recharge it in the sun, or you can recharge it with a hand crank. You might want to listen to it when the sun's not out. When the weather's bad, for example, like say a hurricane or a tornado or some other natural event, or you need to hear this at night, this ain't gonna help you. And if you're out of power and you don't have a USB charger to hook this up to, you're gonna be cranking it to hear it. So there's one example. I have one other example, an Eton. I don't know these very well, but they came fairly well recommended. So I have an Eton. Again, you see the hand crank on it. All right, it's important to me. And then USB as well. So there's 2 examples of emergency, super light, relatively cheap, right? If the internet goes down, if broadcast TV isn't working, but they can get emergency broadcast, weather channels out, you'll be able to hear what's going on in the world. Whether you trust it or not, that's up to you, but at least you won't be completely calm in the dark, relying on people walking by your house or something. So those are examples of radios. Now, I talked about USB. So here's a USB battery pack, right? I mean, it's just your standard battery pack. The difference is it's got solar panels, all right? So here it's got 4 solar panels, so you can charge this thing during the day and use it to run those radios at night, or anything you need to charge, anything you need to run. Now, these are low capacity, so they're going to run your radio, but they're not going to run your fridge, your freezer, your air conditioner, or really a big fan, right? Look at the size of it and use your common sense. This is to charge a cell phone, a radio, an emergency radio, a ham thing, a walkie talkie, right? Be reasonable what you expect out of this. I have a second example for you. It's much less capable. It's just 1 solar panel. But again, these things do exist, and they're relatively inexpensive. So I've got 4 of these and 4 of these, 1 for each of my family. And that's just how I would power these or recharge these, right? So it's layered, right? You gotta have your shit together if you're gonna have a comm backup plan, right? So I have 4 layers of backup. I've got emergency radios, and I've got solar powered power blocks if I need them. Guys, that's it. That's here ended the lesson. But if there are people way, way, way smarter than me on comm prep, I just wanted to show you what I'm doing beyond the weapons, right? I committed that to you, 6-8 weeks ago. So that's it. That's it for comm from me. Hope you guys are having a great Friday. Remember, everybody deployed. Talk to you later.